メインディッシュは完成済みか。
Welcome to Cooking for Weebs and welcome to the last, maybe, video of Okayasu's meal from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. So we've had the salad and we've had the pasta. This week we're making the lamb chops with applesauce, which is the kind of hidden recipe because it doesn't have the ingredients listed in the anime. So I'm going to try my best to recreate the lamb chops and let's get cooking. We're going to start off with a dry rub marinade, and we're just going to marinate the lamb chops for about an hour. Right now I'm mincing some garlic. In a small container we're going to put our minced garlic, and we're also going to add a good amount of salt. Since this is just a dry rub, I'm not going to be too precise with the measurements. Should be fine. That's plenty of salt. Our pepper. Some dried rosemary. Just going to dump all that in. And a little bit of oil just to have it all come together. Give that a nice mix. So you're going to need a rack of lamb, and this one is French, which means the bones in the back are exposed. If you have another kind of rack of lamb, just go ahead and cut off those extra pieces of sinew and meat. So let's toss that lamb into a baking dish. I'm going to use that to bake with later. Free at last. When you finally freed your lamb from the packaging, let's lather our marinade or dry rub or whatever all over our lamb. So once your lamb is nice and covered, we can put that in the fridge and let it marinate for about half an hour to an hour, depending on how long you can wait. So once you take the lamb out of the fridge, you're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we're going to wrap the exposed bone of the lamb so it doesn't char and turn black. Now that the bone tips are prevented from burning, we're going to shove that in the oven. So as the lamb is baking, we're going to work on our sauce. So Tonio has an applesauce, which, I don't really know what goes into there, but what we're gonna do is we're just going to make a glaze out of onions and apples, and should be pretty sweet, pretty nice. You're going to use a tart sour apple, so green apple is your best bet. And let's do half an apple first. We're also going to thinly slice half an apple. So now we have our apples and onions. We're going to cook it down in a pan. So in a hot pan, we're going to heat up some oil. And we're going to start with the onions. Once your onions have cooked down a little bit, we're going to add the apples. In the sauce, we also see these kind of green bits, and I'm going to assume it's mint because lamb and mint are supposed to be really good together. So I'm just going to crumple some of these mint leaves straight into the whole shebang. Now let's try to get everything to caramelize. If it gets too dry, we're going to add a little bit of water and maybe sugar to speed up the caramelization process. Okay, so it's been half an hour. I took out the lamb chops. I have a pot of water boiling to blanch our asparagus spears in. And for the sauce, I let it cook down and I deglazed it a couple times with water. And now for the final deglaze, I'm going to use sake. If you have white wine, that will work perfectly well, but I don't, so that's going to be it. And we're just going to let the alcohol cook out. Well, the sauce isn't really a sauce, but there it is. When the water is boiling, we're going to blanch some asparagus and we're ready to plate. Cook a few asparagus spears. So I've cut one of the lamb chops out, and as you can see, it's nicely cooked. So we're gonna start with about 4 spears of the asparagus. I kind of overcooked this. Whoops. He also has some leaves on the side of the plate. I'm not sure what they are, but I've decided to forgo them. And then on the bottom, we're going to have our apple and onion and mint compote, if you will. And lastly, there's 3 lamb chops. So there's a little bit more liquid in the plate, so we're going to add just that lamb fat on the bottom, just for aesthetic's sake. So here it is, the lamb chops with apples, which is the main dish of Okayasu's meal. So let's give that a try. Okay, so I got a bit of the lamb. Let's add this nice apple and onion on top.
その甘酸っぱさと子羊の肉汁が喉を通るたびに幸せを感じる。こんな味がこの世にあったとは。その肉は食うな、おかず。
Pretty tasty. I think the applesauce could be better. I just gotta say, maybe don't follow this recipe. Maybe I'll make another one. Yeah, the onions and the apples don't actually come together so well. But anyways, thanks for watching and thanks for sticking with me for this series. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye bye.